Against my better judgment, I have recently gotten back into Monster Hunter, and I have some thoughts. And I thought I'd just make a video talking about my experience playing Monster Hunter Rise in 2023, and that would be that. But instead, because Google is always watching me, my YouTube feed has been inundated with people talking about how great it's been going back to play Monster Hunter World. And you know, good for them. But I'm just over here feeling like an insane person.
Am I so out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong.
And now I'm not going to claim I am a veteran to the series or anything. Like most people, I started with Monster Hunter World, and I do still think that it is an amazing game. But I just can't go back to playing it after going through Rise and Sunbreak, and so I guess I have to talk about that too. For those of you who have only watched the Monster Hunter community from afar or are just unfamiliar with the series, 1, I have no idea how you got here, and 2, hello, I hope you're doing well. I'm going to try to give you guys a brief rundown of the series so we can all follow along together, but we'll see how that goes. The first thing you should know is that this game is weird. Very weird. Monster Hunter is a series where you hunt monsters. I know, big shocker. But it's a series where each hunt is its own 10 to 20 minute excursion. This isn't something you're just gonna go out and do. You gotta prepare for it. But it is also a game where there are funny cat people who make you food and talk in puns. And there are monsters, like the funny bonk chicken and the farting armadillo. But on the other hand, you have angry electric monkey, rocket-powered dragon, and shit like Geismagorm the abyssal demon. Like, the tone for this game is all over the place, and for some, this might be a bit off-putting, but for me, this is just like the icing on the cake. That is the real reason I play Monster Hunter, the combat. The other thing you should know about Monster Hunter is that this is a series that has iterated on the same idea for just shy of 2 decades now. Because of this, there are 14 unique weapon classes with their own movesets, with most having multiple playstyles to build around them on top of all of that. 2 players in different weapon classes are practically playing a different game. And to top it all off, there is a massive roster of unique monsters for you to slap around, loot their carcass, and make shiny new weapons and armor out of their ass. The original point of this video was to talk about how big this game is and how that's kind of a double-edged sword. On the one hand, I can take a multi-month-long hiatus, and there is always more stuff for me to do whenever I hop back on. Whether it's event quests, more main story missions, or now even the random Querio quests, there's never not something to do. On the other hand, there's too much shit in this game. I am not even going to go over the decision paralysis aspect. That's a problem in itself. What really gets me is something I like to call the menagerie of menus. There are so many subsystems in this game. There is weapon and armor crafting, armor upgrades, decoration crafting, gambling for talismans, weapon and armor for your buddies.
Sending your buddies on scout missions, sending them on tree missions, customizing your food.
Jesus Christ, I both love and hate that there is a loadout menu for everything in this game, but there's just too much. Like I said, double-edged sword. There is a level of customization and optimization that I have never seen in any other game, but I have to ask, at what cost? As someone familiar with the series, I know which parts of the game I want to engage with and which to just kind of touch once and every now and then come back to it. But for someone new to the series, it's already a whole ordeal finding a weapon that's fun and actually learning how to use it. It's pretty standard practice to have to watch a 20+ minute video just to get the basics down for a particular weapon class. I have over 350 hours into both World and Rise combined, and I can only confidently use like 3 different weapons. For those curious, Charge Blade main, Lance and Bow enjoyer. I want more people to see what makes this series so great, but having homework to learn the game and dealing with all of these subsystems feels like recommending a second job. And that's where this video was originally going to end. But then the internet made me feel like an insane person, so now I gotta deal with that. Like I said at the beginning, the new hot take is that you should really be playing Monster Hunter World right now. And like an idiot, I did. To be fair, if I hadn't just gotten back into Rise, I might have had a different opinion. if I had started a new save or went back to some low rank quests, I might be singing a different tune. But I, like the smooth-brained genius I am, hopped right back into Master Rank and had a bad time. Now, to its credit, Monster Hunter World did and still does a lot right. Tracking down monsters with the scout flies and actually hunting is pretty fun and immersive. This, combined with the gorgeous environments and graphics, is very fun to experience. But like most things in Monster Hunter, again, it's a double-edged sword. The graphics are beautiful, but holy shit, it is so hard to tell where you are going and where things are. Yes, Rise had to take a graphical hit to get it to run on the Switch. Yes, the maps are a lot smaller and don't have as many environmental tools for you to use, but at least Rise is legible. There is so much less visual clutter when hunting, and the important bits actually pop out of the background. It makes the scout flies feel less like a cool feature and more like a compromise to be able to actually navigate these massive maps. This issue gets compounded by the fact that you are so much less mobile in Monster Hunter World. I admit, those weren't really issues before I played Rise, but the Palico is out of the bag, and it hurts to lose all those new tools. The addition of the wire bug, wall running, and the Palamute make traversals so much more enjoyable for me. Going back to World feels like I have cement shoes on, and it's practically painful to experience. I know there are mixed opinions on these additions, and if you want to hear a fair argument against them, I would recommend SkillUp's review for Monster Hunter Rise. But I am a firm wirebug and dog enjoyer. It is too much fun to move around the map, and it just speeds up combat in a way that, for me at least, is much more enjoyable. One of my least favorite parts of World was getting smacked by a monster, rolling around for 10 years, just so I can get hit again once I get back up. Now, some people like this more grounded and methodical playstyle, and that is their choice to be wrong. Is it overpowered? Yeah, probably. If the wirebug returns in the next title, I do think the cooldown needs to be longer, just so it's more of a resource that needs to be managed and conserved. Rise makes it so much easier to just get out of harm's way, and combined with the Silkbind moves, you are just way more powerful. Again, sword. The edges are doubled. Do you want to feel like you're overcoming an insurmountable challenge, or do you want to style on the monster with your sick moves? It's more a preference than anything else. The last thing I want to talk about is the switch skills. Everything else I've mentioned has been more or less focused around the different design philosophies of the two games. The one title is a massive reinvention of the series that was meant to wow audiences on the new fancy hardware, whereas the other needed to run on the potato that is the Switch. There are going to be trade-offs and differences between the two, but I will be so sad if they take away Switch skills in the next title. It adds so much more diversity and customization to your build, and while the scroll swaps are another layer of complexity that my smooth brain just cannot physically handle, it is nice to have these extra options for those who want to push the skill ceiling. And now, I'm not going to sit here and act like Rise is perfect. Spear burbs are annoying. Base Rise was almost definitely way too easy. And yes, the graphics do still leave a lot to be desired. But at the end of the day, it's still Monster Hunter. And Capcom has shown they aren't going to screw up what really matters in the series. And if you have more fun going back to World, more power to you. I'm just glad you're enjoying this game. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you for listening to my incoherent ramblings. And if you enjoyed yourself, there are buttons above the description that may interest you. And just maybe, I'll see you again.